tell that there must not be a lot going on because we're starting to get more and more people at these meetings. So, the minutes have been distributed. Are there any changes to the minutes? Okay, if there are no changes, then can I get a motion to accept the minutes as distributed?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we're going to open up the public hearing on Timber Banks Residential Golf and Community General Project Plan. May I have a motion to open up the public hearing?
I'll move that. I'll second it.
All right. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak for or against the project? No one?
Mr. Supervisor,
Yes.
did you want to do the two motions first?
Before this?
For the lead agency and the declaration? For the seeker?
Oh, you want to do that first?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. All right, then I'll have to close that.
You won't have to.
No, you don't.
You can make a card.
Do it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. May I have a motion that Lysander Town Board, having followed the prescribed seeker procedures, hereby designated itself as the lead agency for the Timbers Residential Golf Community GPP Amendment Number 5.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I have a motion that the Lysander Town Board, having reviewed the seeker regulations, determine that the proposed land use changes included in the Timbers Residential Golf Community GPP Amendment Number 5 is an unlisted action, and having reviewed the short environmental assessment form and finding no significant or adverse impacts resulting from the proposed land use changes included in the Timbers Residential Golf Community GPP Amendment Number 5, the Lysander Town Board issues a negative declaration.
I'll move it. I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so now, is there anyone that wants to speak on behalf or against the project, current project? Yes, yes, sir.
I can speak in favor. James Trasher, CHA. I'm the engineer representing the developer.
Could you stand up, sir?
What?
Could you stand up, please?
Oh, yeah. James Trasher, CHA. I represent the Timbers LLC and the developer. So if there's any questions, we're just looking to switch, as you know, density within the development as shown, GPP number 4. We're just talking about this area right here and changing some of the uses from where it was high-density residential apartments to high-density residential. So really the land uses will change in this area. The total number of units would remain the same, but it's required under the general project plan to have this modification done. So we were with the planning board. If you have any questions, be more than happy to answer.
Okay, we talked about it earlier in the work session, and what it really did, you're putting in a pool and some tennis courts, and even though the number stays the same, the area is only about 1 acre as opposed to 3.5 acres that would have been taken up by residential housing, correct?
Correct.
And then there's also about 0.8 of an acre of open space area
Correct.
that you're going to have. So
Yep.
actually, there's a lot more green space and recreational areas with this using up the same amount.
Correct. We still have the golf course, walking trails, and we're just adding other amenities to that area when you come down Timberbanks Parkway.
Okay. Are there any other comments? All right. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. All right. So we have the Central New York Society Award and the New York State Parks and Recreation Award.
I'm just going to introduce Megan Ball. She's from the town of DeWitt, and she's going to just talk briefly on what the award was. and how we got here. So,
Hi, everybody. Hi. As Tony said, my name is Megan. I'm Director of Recreation for the town of DeWitt, and I'm also the past president for the Central New York Recreation and Park Society. I really appreciate your time tonight. We've been trying to get these awards to Tony for a little while now, but things have been a little crazy. So the New York State Recreation and Park Society is the leading professional membership organization dedicated to promoting quality recreation, parks, and engagement opportunities for all citizens of New York State. Central New York Recreation and Park Society is one of 3 regional partners, and we encompass 11 counties here in Central New York. Each year, both organizations present a series of awards that have become coveted honor for the people and organizations being recognized for their contributions to parks and recreation. The nominations are reviewed and the winners are chosen by parks and recreation professionals from across the state. The Exceptional Park Design Award is for a project that contains facility and landscape components. Examples include sports fields, playgrounds, splash pads, trails, linear parks, skate parks, dog parks, and outdoor aquatic facilities. This is the top honor that a park can receive at both the local and the state level. In recognition of Lysander Town Park, which I hear welcomed over 3,000 guests in its opening season, it's my honor to present both the 2019 Central New York Exceptional Park Design Award and the 2020 New York State Exceptional Park Design Award to Town Engineer Al Yeager and Parks and Recreation Supervisor Tony Birkinshaw. I was told to get pictures as well, so this is.
we'll keep her.
Oh, me in the middle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, here, you can each
Okay.
take an award, maybe?
Yeah, you're famous.
Give it just the two. Yes, thank you.
Well, I have to say something, as a former parks guy, this award, getting the award from Central New York is prestigious enough, but getting it from New York State is really the top shelf thing. I mean, you're competing from folks from way out in Long Island, New York City, Albany, Rochester, Buffalo, Watertown, Binghamton, and smaller communities as well. It's a rigorous process. You know, in my tenure at County Parks, we received the award for the Boundless Playground in Onondaga Lake Park. I think the Skyline Lodge out in Highland Forest. But you know, you're doing stuff that's top shelf. I mean, the tops in the state. So hats off. You know, hats off to everybody in the back of the room too for making all of this possible. This was such a community effort making that skate park a reality. So everybody got this award tonight. But thank you.
All right, thank you. It's always nice to have recognition, and the fact that our employees got that recognition, I know they appreciate it, and I appreciate it as well. Okay. So now we move on to the presentation of the budget by the town clerk.
I formally present you with the 2021 preliminary budget.
Well, thanks.
Thank you, Dee.
You're welcome.
Alright. So now we move on, we have to schedule some work sessions for the budget. And I would encourage everybody to, if you can attend, to at least watch it on PAC-B. We're gonna try and do the ones that have the largest impact on the budget at the town board meetings while PAC-B is here. But the other ones, PAC-B doesn't come to our work sessions and things, but like there are some, I use the town clerk's budget. She did a nice job at putting it together, and there's really not a lot of moving parts to where you can either cut it, and we have to have that, so those are pretty easy, and there's a couple other departments that are pretty easy, but when it comes to the highway and the parks and other ones that are gonna have a large impact on the community, I think you should be here so that when it comes time to have the public hearing, we can hear you. Because I can tell you right now, and I've been expressing this earlier tonight with the town board, that this is gonna be an ugly year. There's just not a lot of money there. I got a quote here from out of the Associations of Towns by Jerry Geist, who's the executive director, and he, in his letter in the town, he said that state funding cuts will largely depend on what happens at the federal level, but towns may want to prepare for that possibility. So what he's saying are cuts, and I can tell you right now, my wife works for the state, and they're in big cuts right now. I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars. So that's just gonna trickle down. So I think that we need to do our best to keep that budget at a level that it was last year. And so that means that some things are not gonna get done, or we're not gonna, fund something, at least from my perspective. I'm only one of five, but, and other things are, we're gonna have to put money towards, things that we need. Mr. Birkinshaw was talking about the ash trees. There's 40 ash trees that we hadn't budgeted for. That's something that we have to do. And that's gonna be, I mean, we did numbers quickly, but that could be up to $24,000. So that's $24,000 that I can tell you is not in there. Phones, we have to replace our phones. The phones are gonna die. We don't have parts for our phones anymore. That's another number that we have to do. Well, where's that money gonna come from? We're gonna have to take it from somewhere. So at least from my perspective, I would like to hear what the public has to say when we're looking at either funding some projects or not funding other projects. I think, and I'm only speaking for myself, but I think everyone on this board, would like to hear from you. So we're gonna schedule some work sessions right now. I want to get on my calendar. So our next meeting is the 15th. Last year, we weren't able to get through the parks and the highway on the 15th, right? So what I would suggest is that we do the highway on the 15th, because that's the biggest one. Anybody have a problem with that?
No.
Now, are you saying we would do it at 7 o'clock, or we do it?
Yes, because what I'd like to do, I'd like those two, the parks and the highway, I'd like PAC-B to be able to record that so people can watch it if they can't, because most people aren't going to be able to attend. That way they can see what discussions we have in our work sessions, and then when we have the public hearing, if there's something in there they either like or dislike, they wouldn't know it if they weren't here. But if they were able to watch it on PAC-B, on the bigger ones, then if they're interested enough, they can come to the public hearing. But they don't know unless they can see what we're talking about.
And I don't have any issue with that, but it would to do the highway, just from prior experience, that could be a good hour and a half, 90-minute conversation. So are we going to try to limit what we do, the other town board business on that night? I want to make sure that we spend as much energy and time on the highway and parks and the rest of the budget as we need to.
Well, I'll stay as long as we have to stay.
Okay.
So, and we come in, we start at 7, we get done when we get done. So we do the town business, and then we, we'll try and, if there's business that we can put off, yeah, we'll keep it as.
Is PAC-B, are you able to stay late?
Are you able to come early?
I mean, what if we?
So could we do our work session in our town? So we started at 6.
We
What
could.
if we started at 6 instead of 7? I mean, just
Okay,
Is
that's
that
okay.
Christina for you to put out there?
Yeah, that's okay with me. I mean, if that's okay with you. Yes, okay. So
So 6 p.m.
6 p.m. on the 15th for the highway,
That's great.
because I think that's going to be some work. So we have to, what I like to do, the same thing with the parks. If we're doing highway on the 15th, we could, and we're starting at 6 o'clock, we could probably do the parks and the highway on the 15th, right?
I feel it gets rushed.
Kind of gets,
It might be tough.
Okay, I'm open for suggestions then.
well, if you want to do them at board meetings, you're limited, because you're
Yeah.
not going to meet until November.
Yeah, we can't, we gotta do it on either on.
Can we do it the 22nd, the next,
Right.
following week? That gives us plenty of time.
And I just won't be in town on the 22nd, it's,
Okay, what about the 29th?
but I mean, I guess you're concerned about PAC-B being here, that's great, but if they can't be here,
Mhm.
it's recorded, and it'll be on our website, we should just schedule the following week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Which days are you talking?
Like, actually, you can start next week, but I was thinking the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st, just go one night after the next, and just do the budget, just the parks on the 19th, and the rest of the departments, either that evening, and then the 20th and 21st, and you'll be done in 3 days.
Okay, yeah, because we're gonna need some time to, I think everybody will need some time to digest that.
Absolutely.
Well, and it'll also leave us time in the calendar to revisit things if we need to.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
And I think having the highway budget during PAC-B is a good thing, because like you said, that's 50% of our budget. So I think that's the big one that the public is gonna wanna see.
Okay,
We can schedule work sessions, that shouldn't be a problem. If you want to do 3 days in a row, I'll just come in, depending on the calendar.
oh, yeah?
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Okay, because if we can shorten it down so you don't have to come in. So, how do those days look, the 19th, 20th, and 21st of October?
I'm good with those.
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, they're perfect.
Okay.
It's 6 PM.
6 PM?
So,
Does that work for PAC-B?
What's the date?
You
The
have
dates?
court,
Oh,
court
court.
in this room.
Yeah, on
You can do
the,
that there.
So we could do it back
yeah,
there.
Tuesday, we could, right, we can do it in another area. If we have to, we'll do it in,
Well, the 19th, the 20th, and 21st.
You can do that
Tuesday
there.
and Wednesday.
yep.
Starting with parks. Starting with parks, the 19th.
Mhm. Yeah, we might only need PAC-B here for the 19th. So we'll be scheduled for the 20th and the 21st. And, yeah, court's in here Tuesday and Wednesday, so we'll have to use some other area of the town to do it in, but we'll figure that out. Depending on how.
There is no meeting in, I don't know if the 22nd works for anybody, but there is nothing in here on the 22nd.
Doesn't work.
I just
Oh,
scheduled
that's right.
something. I'm bringing my grandkids to Gettysburg, so.
Cool.
so-
Good job.
It's part of their school.
I mean, some of the other, I mean, we're scheduling the 19th, 20th, and 21st, but, I mean, parks will take some time, but some of the other budgets, how long do you think it'll take for your budget?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So-
I mean, we may be
The other ones
done,
will be-
by- we may be
yeah,
done
put
by
together one night.
Tuesday.
And the other ones, count clear, codes, we might be able to
You could
throw
do
that
like,
all in one.
That's what I
on
mean.
Tuesday,
I'm
we could
almost
do,
thinking.
say, mine, then we could do codes, assessor, you could do all three on the 20th.
Right.
Okay, so we're probably looking at 2 days then, 19th and 20th.
But just schedule all three.
Let's schedule all three,
Yeah.
because again, Mike will want to
Yep.
visit some of this stuff.
Okay. Good.
And then when do we have to finalize the budget? What date? November?
Well, we have to have it by the.
The public hearing by the Thursday after Election Day.
Right,
Okay.
or at
So we got
at the
plenty.
latest, the 15th. I
So we
think,
can
and
meet
then-
the week of the 26th to kind of iron out any
Yes.
issues.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Can't leave yourself enough time to go from the tentative budget to the preliminary budget, which you get next week, and whatever amendments you make, that's what gets publicized for the public hearings. So
Right.
gotta give enough time for all that.
Well, I'm hoping we can do the
Yeah, because there has to be so many days before the public hearing that the notice.
5 days, right? Ms. Falcone, 5 days.
Mhm.
So if we iron it out by the 30th, we could probably have the public hearing by the 5th.
We just schedule the public hearing for the 5th.
What?
We would schedule the public hearing for
Right.
the 5th, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that should work, right? Everybody good with that?
So just to clarify,
Yep.
you're gonna do the highway budget at 6 PM on Thursday the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Then at 6 PM on Monday the 19th, it's gonna be parks,
Yep.
okay? Then the 20th, Tuesday at 6 PM, town clerk, codes, assessor.
Mhm.
What about engineer, is engineer separate?
We'll get that in there the same night.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get those in there too.
Yeah.
So why
Yeah,
don't we
that's
do,
not good.
we'll do engineer first, and then I'll go, and then codes and then assessor.
And my recollection with your presentation, the one that we ever spent any time on was the building improvements or whatever that you call that.
Yeah, building improvements budget.
That was pretty much what took most of the time.
Or we could do codes, assessor, and clerk on the 19th. The 20th, we do mine in the buildings improvements budget.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's
the
a.
20th?
Yeah, the 20th, yeah.
Yeah.
Want to schedule, I mean, that's good by me.
Yeah, we can do it that way, because yours is only gonna be 10 minutes, so we'll do yours first, we'll throw it in with the parks, do a few of them on the 19th, and then the rest on the 20th.
So at 6 PM, it'll be, town clerk will go before parks, you mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
you said 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
We might give you 11 minutes.
It could be 9.
Could be 9, yeah.
Okay, and so I'm gonna be putting this calendar out to the public then, at the work session.
Okay. Everybody good with it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, move on to citizens' comments. Do you have any citizens' comments, though?
Cindy Clark, 27 West Genesee Street, Beeville. I just wanted to encourage everybody to come, if you get an opportunity, come to the park, because with the permission of the supervisor and the director, Mary and Dave and I added some Rose of Sharon from my garden and a butterfly plant in the butterfly garden area. I've also reached out to the garden club to see if they can come up with some ideas, because a lot of times people have plants in their yard and they don't cost anything, because I realize the budget's gonna be really tough for everybody. So if there's something that we can do to help out, to bring in plants, to beautify the park a little bit more, particularly the butterfly garden now, and then working on expanding maybe a little bit next year because it's a beautiful area. They've painted the gazebo white. It's lovely, it's lovely. So if you get a chance, take a walk through, let us know what you think of the new plants. They're just little guys, so next year hopefully they'll have some flowers. And hopefully the butterfly plant will have flowers next year too. But it's really, really pretty, and like you say, it didn't cost a dime. So, I mean, it's just, all the plants were out, I have the plants in my garden. If anybody has any plants that you want to donate next year or whatever for the garden, feel free, because we'll be continuing working on it, like I say, at no cost to the town. But come and enjoy. Thank you.
Any other citizens' comments? I want to thank Ms. Clark over there, because I know she's put a lot of time and effort into the park, and she's been working with the Parks Director, and she does it just because she likes the town and the village. So I want to thank her, and people like that, anybody that helps us out should get recognized, and she's been doing a lot of work, so I really appreciate it.
Good work.
Okay, moving on, supervisors' comments. Again, I pretty much went over my comments about the budget earlier. The county is going to be increasing fees. You're not going to see it in your tax bill, but you're going to see it in all the other fees that you get hit by the county, and that because they have between a $60 million and $100 million shortfall. I know the state is at billions of dollars. I mean, the last I knew it was around 40 billion. And my wife works for the state, and they're doing some severe cutting in her organization. And so I'm sure you're going to see that across the board. So some of these things that we might get grants for, or where we got money from the state before, when Mr. Rowley and I went through anything that came from the state, we're looking at least a 20% reduction. I think that's fair to assume that we're gonna get hit as well. So some of these things and some of these things were tens of thousands of dollars, so we're gonna have to make that up somewhere. How are we gonna make it up? Now, people are out of work. I don't wanna raise the budget. You know, I think that one of the things, I was listening to one of the commentators, and there was I don't recall where it was from, but a congressman made the statement that government always raises taxes, but they never decrease it, and it's like they're oblivious to the plight that people are in at times like this. But, you know, we're on the local level, we can really take that into consideration. So, at least from my perspective, I'm gonna try to do my best to keep that at zero. You know, can we do it? We'll see. But that's why I want people to be here. I want people to see what we're doing and how we're working through it, so that they can see what we're spending their money on. But, you know, I won't vote for anything, and I'm only one of 5, but I won't vote for anything that I think that we don't need. If we need it, then I'm in. If we don't need it, if it's like your house, if you need a roof and it's between going on vacation or getting a new roof, you know, the smart people put the roof on. The other people go on vacation and live with a leaky roof. Well, you know, I don't think we should do that. I don't think we should work with a leaky roof. There's a lot of things that we have to work out with the town to make sure that we retain our assets and we take care of our assets, and I think that should be a priority, as well as the highway. I think the highway is a priority because that's the biggest service we give to the town. So that's all I have. Mr. Diamond.
I'd like to thank everyone for attending. You know, I'm going to echo our supervisor's comments regarding the budget. As I take a look at the budget, anything that we absolutely need, we're going to spend money on. But any luxury items this year, this is not the year to be raising taxes on anyone. So, that's all I have to say.
Mr. Moore.
Yes, as people know who've watched me over the past several years, I love digging into the numbers of the budget. It's a freakish thing, but I actually like looking at those numbers and seeing where we can shave what we can shave. So I too look forward to it, and I echo everybody's concerns about this year's budget. I also want to take a moment to thank Al and Tony and congratulate them on the awards that they won, that they earned, but also to make sure that the splash pad committee back there, the spray park committee, also played a big part in that award, and to recognize former board members Bob Ellis and Joe Saracini, who put their heart and soul into that project because they believed in the project and they loved their community. So my congratulations to everybody involved. Aside from that, I would thank everybody for coming. And move on. Oh, sorry, one more thing. Sorry, Jim. It is October 1st, which means we are now in the 4th quarter of 2020. And by God, we're going to make it. Now move on. Go ahead.
Mr. Jurassic.
We'll just get on with business tonight, thank you.
Yeah, I'll echo Councilor Gerasi as well, too.
Okay. Department heads. Mr. Rowley.
Nothing other than, obviously, a lot of sweat and time went into preparing that document in front of you, and look forward to meeting with you guys and pouring through it.
It's like watching a horror movie.
I just want to thank the Spray Park Committee in the back for everything, for the awards. I couldn't have done it without you guys. A long 3 years, long road, and I just want to say thank you guys. I know you guys have always been behind the scenes, but this award is going to hang up in the office, and I'll think of you guys every time I see it. So just thank you. Also to Cindy, thank you for all your commitment to the park. It's very appreciated coming up and what you've been doing and the efforts you've been putting in and helping me this year, especially this year. So I just want to say thank you. Also too, the deadline for the window painting is Wednesday, October 7th. So Anybody out there that's looking to get a last minute window, get it in before the 7th so that we can assign windows and we know how many windows to decorate and how many windows we have available. Right now, just putting the registrations in, we have over 75 kids, local Beeville students, that will be decorating windows in the village. We still got more to put in. So we're working on that and trying to get them all in. And then save your date for Saturday, October 17th. Seneca River Fire Department will be doing a chicken barbecue drive-through up at the park, $10 a dinner. We'll be hosting it, and the Seneca River Fire Department will be putting on the chicken dinners. So save those on your calendars, put those in, and hopefully we'll see you guys up at the park. And it's a drive-through, but we will have picnic tables accessible if people want to stay and eat at the park. That's all I have.
Joni, how do people register for the window thing? How can they register?
So there's an application online on the town website. You can print that out. You can fax it in. You can email it in. You can drop it off in person. We do have a drop box outside our windows now, and you can put it in that drop box, and the tax receiver will give me that first thing in the morning when she collects the taxes from the drop box. So there's multiple ways of getting it to us. But the application is available on our website.
Thanks.
Mr. Ziegman.
Nothing.
Ms. Falcone.
So tonight, the board is going to approve my 2 new deputies. And so I just want to introduce Gretchen and Terry. So we're looking forward to a new start.
All right. We're happy to have you aboard. Did I miss anybody with a mask on? I usually miss someone. Good tonight. All right. So we'll move on to the regular agenda items. May I have a motion to adopt the Timbers Residential Golf Community Project Plan, GPP Amendment Number 5?
I'll move that. I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to appoint Terry Fairgan as part-time deputy clerk, appointed to by town clerk Dina Falcone at an hourly rate of $16.75, not to exceed 20 hours per week.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to appoint Gretchen Starr as part-time deputy clerk, appointed by town clerk Dina Falcone at an hourly rate of $16.75, not to exceed 20 hours per week.
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign the White Tail Wood Section C construction drawings cover sheet with the latest revision date of June 19, 2020, as recommended in the town engineer's letter dated September 29, 2020.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? Mr. Yeager, you want to just explain what that is?
Yeah, so the planning board approved a revised preliminary plat for that subdivision that removed the requirement to bury the National Grid transmission lines that traverse the development and removed a walking trail easement along those transmission lines that National Grid wouldn't allow in their easement. And it also reduces one lot because of the National Grid transition easement essentially being unavailable.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign the general release from Erie Insurance for claim number A00026700153 to pay for damage caused to the Copper Knoll box culvert head wall.
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion.
Tony, did you get the questions you had? Sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what that is, last year, earlier in this year, during the winter, a lady ran into the bridge on Cooper Knoll Road, and I can tell you, it's a pretty hefty bridge. She flipped over, but she did some damage to it, and this is to settle that from the insurance company. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to authorize the town engineer to utilize D.E. Tiroli for up to 5 days at a rate of $5,300 a day under the Onondaga County bid for trench and culvert excavation for the 48-inch culvert installed in Seneca Estates.
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Do you want to explain that, Mr. Yates?
Jerry started, the highway department started some of this work on the Mariner Trail last year. We've had an open excavation since last October with a construction fence around it. The highway superintendent has indicated that they just don't have time to get to it this fall. In the interest of, we really want to put this homeowner's lawn back together and address the situation of the failing culvert. So I think this is the way to expedite that project and get the wall work completed before snow flies this winter. Lawn restoration be done in the spring.
And the homeowner has had this area dug up in his yard for almost a year now with plywood on it. So he's been pretty patient with us. So when we were looking at it, that's why we decided to get this done. I think homeowners waited long enough.
And I just have one question. Absolutely, it needs to be done. Al, sometimes you come in and make the proposal and you don't use the county bid. Is there, because you get a better price sometimes, but is this like?
Quite honestly, D.E. Trolley has a lot of experience doing this. They do good work for us.
Right.
And it's a way to expedite it so that we can get it done this year without going through the full formal bid process.
Okay.
We would be, if we went through a full formal bid process, we'd be trying to do it in December.
Right.
And it's just weather conditions start to become unfavorable at that short time.
Thanks.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to authorize the town clerk to request an area speed traffic study for Prime Road?
I'll move that.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Was this at a resident's request, or?
Yes. I have it here.
The entire length of Pine Road?
Yeah, this is from Jim Gillespie on Prime Road. And as you might be aware, there are several residents that live on Prime Road between Lamson Road and Kibbe Road that are interested in getting the speed reduced due to the increased number of houses and the large number of children living on the road. As a resident of Prime Road, I completely support the effort to get the speed limit reduced, and I was told that the first step is to contact you, which I am doing. So that's, as we've explained before, we don't have any control over speed on those roads. That's Department of Transportation. But if anybody ever, whatever we can do to help anybody to try and facilitate that, we will do, and this is the first step. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to authorize the town engineer to utilize D.E. Tiroli for up to 5 days? Is that a no?
Yeah,
Okay.
second one.
Yep, I'm looking, it's the same one, for $5,300 a day under the county bid for trench and culvert excavation for the Radisson Drainage District Improvement Project listed below. And it's on Festival Court, Pony Lane, and Basswood Lane and Amberley Lane in Radisson. Want to explain that?
Yeah, we've got, these are our areas that flood on a regular basis. They don't have adequate drainage provided, or there is drainage in a drainage easement at the rear of the property. However, the entire property is lower than the rear of the property, and the property simply don't drain. These are actually 3 good examples of why we should be looking at requiring a grading plan for every new house constructed. This is the type of thing that could be avoided with adding that requirement to our building permit process.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
We moved it?
Oh, we did? Oh, we did.
We move that, Dina?
I would have
No?
Listen
Oh,
to Al.
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I moved right to Al, okay. Can I get that motion?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, any new business from the board? No? Okay. There's no need for an executive session tonight, so can I get a motion to adjourn at 7:55?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.